So the world of football still is talking about the incident between Egypt and Argentina that saw Egypt go home from the round of 16 and did not qualify to the quarterfinals. And of course, Argentina qualified to the quarterfinals. But in this particular situation, in this video, we are going to be going through the technical reasons why this thing was cancelled, or why it was even a situation where the referee could cancel that. And then with that, when we finish talking about all the rules, you can then make a decision in the comments whether you think that this should have been a foul and cancel the goal, or the goal should have stood. You get me? All the interpretation will be left for you guys. What we are going to be doing in this video is talking about the technical rules. We are going to read it out for you guys, and I'm going to give you my interpretation of the rules, and then with that, you should take it on and absolutely make your own informed decision. And I would love to see it in the comments what you guys absolutely take from this situation. Now, the focus about this was the goal that Egypt scored was arguably one of the best goals, if not one of the best team goals that we have seen in this World Cup. It was a brilliant take, it was a brilliant finish, it was a brilliant run from Hassan. But these are the relevant rules for FIFA. Now, we start with Rule 12 of the FIFA conduct, which is fouls and misconduct. It is the most important in this particular situation, based on what I have researched. You get me? This law determines whether the goal should stand or not. That is the crystal clear situation. A direct free kick is awarded if a player trips or attempts to trip an opponent, kicks or attempts to kick an opponent, charges an opponent carelessly, recklessly, or with excessive force, pushes an opponent, holds an opponent, impedes an opponent with contact, stamps on an opponent. If the referee determines that one of these offenses occurred in the attacking phase that immediately led to the goal must be disallowed. Now, that's the key point. The key point in this particular situation, when I listed all those things down, and make sure you guys put bookmarks on this particular part of the video, because you need to go back and reference it in terms of your argument or whatever the situation is. Now, the key point about this situation, for me, for this law 12, is immediately led to the goal. Remember, I said if the referee determines that one of these offensives occurred in the attacking phase that immediately led to a goal, the goal must be disallowed. Now, the interpretation of this particular situation then comes. The question is asked, is the phase of the goal, of the foul, directly leading to a goal? That's the question you need to ask. So put that to the side. Let's put that to the side and absolutely think about it. Let's mull it over before we then answer that. And then we will go through the VAR. Let's go to the next one. The VAR protocol. This is another law. You get me? Attacking possession phase, which is properly known as AP. So that is APP. You get me? This is the rule that caused the controversy. VAR is allowed to review these particular situations. Every goal, the VAR is allowed to review that. Every penalty, the VAR is allowed to review that. Every direct red card, he's allowed to review that. Mistaken identity, he's also allowed to review that. And when I say he's, I'm talking about the VAR. When reviewing a goal, VAR checks the attacking possession phase, popularly known as AP. This includes fouls, handballs, offsides, and the ball going out of play. If a foul occurs during AP, even several seconds before the shot, VAR can recommend that the referee disallow the goal. Let's keep that in mind. Now, in this particular situation, again, there are some things that absolutely jump out right at me when it comes to us reviewing the situation. Now, that situation is every penalty. That situation is mistaken identity. That situation also is attacking possession. But also, it is several seconds. That's the key word. Several seconds before the shot. That's the key word. Bear in mind, I am giving you guys bookmarks so you guys can absolutely go back and refer back to those bookmarks, because we want you to come up with the right solution or the right answer in that situation. I do not want to influence whatsoever your decisions in that. I'm just giving you guys the laws that are involved and are relevant in that particular situation. Now let's go to the next law, which is the clear and obvious error. VAR is not, that's the key word, not supposed to referee the match. VAR is not taking the power of the referee. He is not supposed to re-referee the match. It is supposed to intervene only if there are two situations: a clear and obvious foul, that is one, or clear and obvious error, sorry, that is one, or a missed incident, that is two. This is where Egypt's frustration absolutely came from in this situation. Their argument essentially is, if that contact was enough to cancel a goal, the contact on Lisandro Martinez, why wasn't the similar contact on Mohamed Salah not reviewed when Argentina scored? That was the question. You understand? That right there was the argument. And then this is an argument that is about consistency, not necessarily about whether the law exists or not. It is about consistency. And because of those situations do not look consistent, Egypt has an argument. Now, the fourth situation and the fourth law that we need to consider is the referee has the final decision. Even after VAR recommends a review, the VAR does not make the decision. The referee remains the final authority in this particular situation. The referee can accept VAR, can reject VAR, or conduct an on-field review to require, if required in that situation, to make sure that he's making the right answer. The referee ultimately decided that the foul had occurred under the laws of the game. That goal would be cancelled. We understand that. Now, this is where the situation gets a little murky, because it's the consistency of Law 12 that absolutely applies in this situation. This is probably the strongest talking point that Egypt is going to have. If Egypt's goal is disallowed because a slight foul occurred during the app, remember, app is basically the what do you call it? The attacking possession phase. You get me? The attacking possession phase. Then fans naturally would ask, was the exact same standard applied to Argentina's goals? If not, the controversy becomes one of the inconsistent applications of the law rather than the law itself. Egypt also protested an unawarded penalty claim shortly before Argentina's winner, adding to its complaints about inconsistency. Now, that particular situation is what absolutely blows my mind. Because yes, the foul on Mohamed Salah was soft, but the foul on the other player, I've forgotten his name, that was in the 18-yard box by McAllister, should always and forever be a red card under the rules of this Law 12. Let's take you back to Law 12 so you guys can absolutely remember what I'm saying. Trips or attempted trip on an opponent is a foul. Kicks or attempted to kick an opponent, charges an opponent carelessly, recklessly, or with excessive force, pushes an opponent, holds, that is the key word there, holds an opponent, impedes an opponent with contact, stamps on an opponent. Those three situations, apart from the stamps, holding an opponent, impeding an opponent, is a foul under the Law 12 of FIFA and IFAB. That right there is a foul, and it should have been called as a penalty. Whether it was with the ball or without the ball coming towards him, That right there is a foul. Inclusion, it should have been a penalty. So in my mind, every single situation in that particular one should have been reviewed. Because if we look at Law 12 and we look at the VAR protocol, which states missed goal, every goal should be reviewed, every penalty should be reviewed, direct red card should be reviewed, mistaken identity should be reviewed. And then it also goes on and says attacking possession phase. VAR checks attacking possession phase, and in that situation, fouls, handballs, offside, and ball going out of play should cancel the goal that is scored. There was a foul in the attacking possession. Yes, did it change possession from Egypt to Argentina? Absolutely, it did change possession. However, that is what that happened in the change of possession. And so in that particular situation, it should have been reviewed. Now, I don't know whether the referee would still have given a penalty, but based on what we reviewed, based on what we saw, based on what we saw with our two eyes, that is a penalty. Because he held the player and dragged the player to the ground. McAllister did that. And that is a penalty. That is a foul. And that goal should be disallowed and called back as a penalty. However, this is where things get a little difficult. The influence of VAR, the psychological influence of VAR on referees, is absolutely giving referees a jail out card. It is giving referees an opportunity to bail out of their responsibility. Because if VAR can make the decision for me, then I am safe. It is not my fault. We have seen it so many times. And I literally had seen, I think it was an article about how many times a referee has chosen to go with the VAR when the option to go against the VAR was the right option. We have seen it so many times, and that right there is what blows my mind about this particular situation. When humans get an opportunity to go with the least resistance, they always choose that opportunity. It is truly factual. I'm not a psychologist, nor am I somebody that literally looks at those kind of situation, but I know it's for fact. If humans get an opportunity to go with the path of least resistance, they will take it. They will absolutely take it. And that was what the referee did today. He went with the path of least resistance. Because if VAR told him to review that situation, and he reviewed it and said, look, that was a little bit further from the attacking possession, which says it should be several seconds before the shot. We are talking about Egypt going literally about 2 minutes. 2 minutes between when the foul happened in their 18-yard box, or not in their 18-yard box, next to their 18-yard box, all the way to where they scored the goal, because they ran the length of the pitch. I don't know whether Hassan is Usain Bolt that can do a 100-yard dash in seconds. But come on. That situation was far gone from bringing it back. If the foul should have happened, if the foul happened, which it did, it should have been brought back the next change of possession. Because the person that did the foul got the ball, passed the ball to Hassan, and then Hassan ran the ball over 2 minutes, passed the ball to Mohamed Salah. That is the third, if I'm not mistaken, the third attacking phase, the third attacking possession phase. And then you call it back after they scored the goal, after the third attacking possession phase, when it says in the law, several seconds before the shot. Immediate attacking phase. That is the truth. That is the true crux of the problem. It's the true crux of the problem. The inconsistency is truly difficult to put my head around. And Egypt absolutely have every right to feel aggrieved in this situation. They do. Because based on Law 12, like I said, and I'm going to say it again, let me read it out for you guys to understand. This is the law that determines whether the goal should stand. A direct free kick is awarded if a player trips or attempts to trip an opponent, kicks or attempts to kick an opponent, charges an opponent carelessly, recklessly, or with excessive force, pushes an opponent, holds an opponent, impedes an opponent with contact, or stamps on opponent. If the referee determines that one of these offenses occurred in the attacking phase that immediately led to the goal, that's the key word, that immediately led to the goal, that goal must be disallowed. It is pretty clear in my mind that the referee got every situation there wrong. He got the situation with the foul on Lisandro wrong. I have to give it to Argentina because it was a foul. It was a foul because the player stepped on his foot. Now, was it a toe hair or a hairline stepping of the foot? Yes. However, he did step on his foot. And in that situation, VAR should have told the referee that was a foul, you missed the foul in the next phase, which is several seconds after the foul had occurred. But the moment he left that foul to continue on, literally about 2 to 3 minutes to going over there and putting the ball in the back of the net, he had waved off that foul. And bringing it back all the way is going against the rule of Law 12. Because it says immediately led to a goal. That foul did not immediately lead to the goal that Zico scored. Now, you look at the foul that occurred in the Argentina's 18-yard box. You look at that foul also. Before that led to Argentina going the other way and scoring their third goal. That was also a foul. But this time, the referee and the VAR failed because the VAR did not tell the referee that there was a foul that occurred immediately that led to a goal, and you need to take it back and review it. However, he let that go and allowed the goal to stand. So he made a mistake in not giving a foul for Lisandro Martinez, made a mistake VAR for not calling that back for them to review it immediately. And then he also made a mistake allowing the game to go on, giving advantage, allowing Egypt to go on and score a goal because he said he was refereeing the game and did not give a foul for that. Allowed it to go on and score a goal. And then, remember when we say this, VAR is not there to re-referee the game. He allowed the VAR to re-referee the game, therefore allowing this game to get out of hand. And that is where the controversy starts. That is where we see Egypt grieved. And that is where, in my opinion, the referee made his mistakes. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. I want you guys, as we have stated it now, and I hope I've given a good explanation about what this situation is and where the referee went wrong. Let me know in the chat what you guys thought about it. Give me your verdict based on the Law 12, the VAR protocol, and all the things that I've mentioned down here. Let me know in the chat. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the follow button, comment down below. I'll see you guys. Peace.